In the opening moments of the Indiana Fever's much-anticipated playoff clash is to connect Sun, the spotlight was firmly on Caitlin Clark. This was her unbar playoffs day, but all eyes were on her. However, within 90 seconds of tip-off, the narrative took a sharp and unfortunate turn. Clark, who has been nothing short of spectacular all season, found herself on the floor clutching her face in obvious pain after being poked in the eye by Sun guard Denai Carrington. This moment, though seemingly minor to some, played a pivotal role in the Fever's eventual loss to the Connecticut Sun. Caitlin Clark, a player who has consistently dominated opponents, now had to face the playoffs with impaired vision, a handicap that could very well have been the deciding factor in this first-round matchup. But before we delve into the aftermath, let's break down how this injury changed the course of the game, why it's significant in what it means for the Fever moving forward. And did you tell a little bit about your eye, the head, if it affected you, how it affected you, and are it through the rest of the game? Face. Yeah, obviously got me pretty good on IR. I don't think it affected me, honestly. I felt like I got good shots, they just didn't go to happen on. I say a tough time for that to happen on. Like, I got some really good looks. I felt I had to pretty wide open threes, and the first half that I usually make so are not tough by filling. I battled and tried my best. I took her a ball better than I usually do, are much as a positive, but overall like a kosher locker room. They were died down 3 first quarter, down 5 second quarter, and then lost by 3 in the third. Like, we're right there, and I felt like wage play crappier make the flow. The game is really bad. I don't have that was refereeing. I was probably partly Oscars, which we struggle against opposite times, but also like the clock, it must either is one thing after the next. But yeah, overall like and bother me, obviously it and feel so good when happened, but and it's on this. Just 90 seconds into the game, Clark's night took a disastrous turn as she attempted to make a routine play. Did WNBA Carrington me to reach for the ball, but instead she poked Clark square in the right eye. It wasn't just a glancing blow. Clark immediately dropped to the ground, visibly distressed and clutching her face, while play continued on the opposite side of the court. Clark's two teammates rushed to her aid, the tension in the arena palpable. This was no ordinary contact for a player whose court vision and precision shooting are critical to her game. The injury was more than just physical. To his tactical, the timing couldn't have been worse. It was still the opening quarter, and Clark was the Fever's key to beating the Connecticut Sun. Yet despite the clear impact the injury had on her, the referees didn't even call a foul. The game continued, but it was clear something had changed. Imagine Caitlin Clark, known for her laser-focused play, suddenly struggling to even see the court properly. Her face, as shown in the ABC broadcast, began to swell, and by halftime it was evident she was developing a serious black eye. The visual tells the whole story. Her right eye sworn, her determination unbroken, but her body language telling another story. Clark tried to play through the injury, showing the grit and resilience that has defined her young career. After briefly sitting on the bench to compose herself, she returned to the floor. The damage was already done. The stats speak for themselves. She went 0 of 6 from beyond the arc and shot just 1 of 9 from the field by halftime. This was far from the Caitlin Clark we've seen dominate all season long. Before this injury, Clark had averaged nearly 26 points per game in the regular season, with an exceptional shooting percentage, or 3-point shooting, a vital weapon in how Arsenal was normally at 40%, yet here she couldn't hit a single one in the first half. This wasn't just a bad game, this was a game influenced by a physical ailment. They clearly hindered her performance, and let's be clear, had it not been for that eye poke, the Fever could have walked out of Connecticut with a victory. Clark's playmaking combined with her shooting ability could have easily overpowered the Suns' defense, but without her sharp vision and accuracy, the Fever found themselves on the back foot. Every possession counted in. Clark's inability to lead the offense in her usual fashion was felt across the board. This brings us to the larger question: why wasn't this called a foul, and why has Caitlin Clark been subjected to such physical play? Yet throughout her rookie year, it's worth noting that this is not the first time Caitlin Clark has been on the receiving end of aggressive and at times questionable physical plays. Throughout her rookie season, Clark has faced repeated instances of hard fouls, eye pokes, and physical contact, but have often gone unaddressed by officials. Many have pointed out that these tactics seem aimed at slowing down as for explosive style of play has taken on board by storm, but Carrington spoken. The eye takes the cake, whether intentional or not. The result was clear. It neutralized the Fever's best player. Critics have been quick to highlight how Carrington's physicality, which has been a hallmark of her defensive play, crossed a line in this instance. Some have gone as far as to accuse her of targeting Clark, knowing that limiting her would spell doom for the Fever. From my perspective, this wasn't just an unfortunate accident. It was part of a broader pattern in how Caitlin Clark has been treated in the league. For a player of caliber to face this level of physical punishment without proper officiating responses is alarming. It's almost as if certain players feel threatened by her meteoric rise and resort to physicality as their only answer. Yet this physicality is just one part of the story. Even more troubling has been the criticism from some of the WNBA, his own legends, who seem eager to downplay her success. Beyond the court, Clark has faced an unusual amount of criticism from some of the biggest names in women's basketball. Players like Diana Taurasi, Sue Bird, and most notably Cheryl Swoops have been outspoken in their critiques of Clark, often downplaying her achievements, are suggesting that she hasn't truly earned her place among the on-ball. Swoops in particular has made headline. And with her comments stating that Clark's impact on the game is being overstated, she's even gone so far as to suggest that court's rookie success is more productive media hype than actual skill. Let's not mince words here. Caitlin Clark is one of the best players in the league, period. The numbers don't lie. She shattered rookie records, she's carried her team to the playoffs, and she's done it all under immense scrutiny. For legends of the game to undermine her accomplishments feels like a misguided attempt to preserve their own legacies instead of celebrating the new generation. They are casting doubt on a player who has already proven herself. But let's return to the core issue at hand, out the Fever's playoff run, and how this injury may have derailed what could have been a storybook. Her December season, the Fever's playoff hopes now hang in the balance, down 0-1 to the Connecticut Sun. They face an uphill battle in the series, especially with Clark not at 100%. The team's fate largely rests on whether she can recover in time to lead them to victory and Game 2. But one thing is clear, this series could have looked very different if not for that eye poke in games where Clark has been fully healthy. The Fever have a winning record against teams like the Sun, but now with her vision compromised, it's anyone's guess how effective she'll be moving forward. As the final whistle blew in Game 1, the lasting image wasn't just the scoreboard or the result, that it was Caitlin Clark battling through the swelling in her eye, a stark reminder of the physical toll the series had taken on her and her team. To Joyner Carrington spoke to the eye, whether deliberate or not, was the defining moment that tilted the balance and favor of the Connecticut Sun. Clark, the Indiana Fever's beacon of hope, was reduced to fighting not just her opponents but her own compromised vision, and that injury looms over the series like a dark cloud. Imagine if that incident hadn't happened. If Clark had been at full strength, this game would likely have had a different outcome. The Fever, powered by the rookie sensation, could have dismantled the Suns' defense and secured a crucial Game 1 victory. Park shooting, playmaking, leadership are the backbone of this team. She's been unstoppable all season until now, but we're left with what ifs and a reality where the fabric playoff run might end prematurely. With Clark's status uncertain for the next game, the Fever now stand on the brink of elimination, and all eyes are on whether she can bounce back in time. It's not just about physical recovery, it's about the mental resilience it takes to fight through pain, criticism, and pressure at the highest level of the game. As we look toward Game 2, one question remains: can Caitlin Clark lead her team to a comeback, or will this injury be the heartbreaking end to what could have been a historic playoff run for the Fever? This isn't just about one game, one play, or one moment. It's about what Caitlin Clark represents for the future of the Mamba. A rookie, yes, but also a player who's been carrying the weight of immense expectations all season long. She shattered records, silenced doubters, and brought Indiana back into the playoff conversation. Yet in a matter of seconds, that momentum was jeopardized not by a lack of skill or preparation, but by an injury that could have been avoided. The tragedy here isn't just the physical toll, it's the potential lost opportunity for a team that had so much promise. Clark's vision, both literally and figuratively, has been the key to Indiana's success. Without her 100%, the Fever facing an uphill battle, one that might be insurmountable without their star leading the charge. But Clark has never been one to back down from adversity. Her resilience, her will to win, and her ability to rise above challenges have defined her career so far. As we head into Game 2, the stakes couldn't be higher. This isn't just a test of skill, it's a test of heart, grit, and determination.